Hello gamers, welcome to a preview of Honeybuzz. Welcome back to the Board Game Code channel. I am Professor Mag, and this is a preview of Honeybuzz. This is a sponsored preview by Goliath Games, and they also sponsored another video that you may have already seen on the channel. That's right, Alex and I did a playthrough of Fire Tower, which is a game where you are playing in a forest and trying to set as much fire as possible toward the opponent's side and set their watchtower on fire and make sure that you can protect your own, both with water and changing the wind and things like that. But if you want to check out the playthrough, it is in the link below and you can see who won. Let me know who you're rooting for in the comments. But either way, we are moving on to a preview of Honeybuzz. Honeybuzz is a game all about tile placement where you are arranging your tiles in a certain way to create as much honey as possible with your different worker bees, just to accumulate points, sell it off both to the market and to some furry creatures that are super adorable, and then there's some endgame goals that you can also vie for as well. So let's jump into more about what the game is like. In Honeybuzz, players are going to be laying these tiles down to use them for different actions throughout the game, and there are only 5 actions, which means that at its core this game is pretty basic in the abilities that you're able to do, but can be very thinky with the different patterns that you end up laying out and what you're trying to go for. So, when you start off, all players have 4 tiles that are set in a certain way, and when you start off the game, you only have 1 little worker bee. These are your worker bees, and you do seem, a little bit tough at the... Oh my goodness. Worker bee. There we go. He's so cute. So it is pretty tough in the beginning. I don't know where he was. But it is pretty tough in the beginning when you only have 1. But that means that you want to make more and more worker bees throughout the game and have as many little insects as possible helping you run around and harvest honey. In Honeybuzz, you're basically going to be taking 1 of 2 actions every single turn. You're either going to be taking tiles or doing a recall action, because to take tiles, you're going to have to place workers. So you have these cute little beeples, and they're so adorable. Oh no, oh, there we go. They're so cute. And you're going to be using these to place them on this board to take different tiles that are here. Now, you're able to place 1 beeple if there is nothing there. However, that becomes a bee pile. That is a stack of beeples. So now that there is 1, if someone else wanted to place there, they would need a stack of 2 beeples instead, which is higher than mine, and then they would be able to take this tile as well. The next person would need to have at least 3 beeples high in their bee pile, etc. But remember that people are going to be taking their recall actions, so they will eventually be removing those workers from the different areas. Now, before we get into what each of the tiles do, because I know you're very interested, I'm going to explain how you trigger them first, because I think that just makes a little bit more sense. So every time you take a tile, you'll be adding it to your own personal hive. When you do that, you have to place it so that the sides are yellow touching yellow. So for example, if I took this tile, I could place it like this. However, I couldn't place it, ooh, this would be really crazy, but like that, because the red would be touching yellow. However, as long as I'm touching, oh no. Okay, well, it was better before. Oh gosh, okay. I could place it like this because that's totally legal, but what you want to be doing is closing off circles of different areas. So, with this one, a good place to possibly put it would be over here. Now, when you complete a circle, you will then trigger the different actions. So when I complete this circle, I would be able to take this action, and then this action. And that's basically how you trigger actions throughout the game. So now let's go over what they are. This one up here is the little baby beeples. So that's how you make more babies. You would place someone here, and then you get to take a bee from your supply, place it into this little nursery area, and then when you do the recall action, you'll be able to take them back. So you don't get it immediately, but you will get it as soon as you take your recall action. You can trigger multiples of these in one circle. For example, you can see I have 2 babies over here, and that's a good way to make a lot of bees in the beginning of the game. Now, the next action over here is actually a wild. It costs you 5 money to be able to take it, so you have to be able to afford the tile, but it is a wild that would allow you to take any of these actions whenever it's triggered. So a good place to put it would be where it would hit in multiple circles, and then you would get multiple wilds throughout the game. This one is just gaining 5 money, so it's pretty simple and straightforward. It's also really great once you run out of beeples to be taking. This top one up here is the forage tile. When you forage, you're going to be able to move around this area. Now let's explain this a little bit. At the beginning of the game, players will start all along this side where you see the different little bees, and they'll be able to move along this board. When they do so, they can collect nectar, a nectar tile, when they are there. So for example, as soon as I have this closed in circle, this one would require one that is a red border all the way around. So different configurations will need different tiles, and you can see here I am 2 away from one with a full border. So once I move 2 spots, I'm able to take this and then place it into this completed circle. We'll move on now because the next action is produce. Produce are these fans, and you get 1 player fan that you're able to place on your board. Now when you're able to place it, you will then spawn nectar for the different spots that are there. So you can see that I already spawned these 2 different honeys for this fan being placed here, and if I had one here, it would have spawned there as well. So that's how you're gaining honey. Next after that is the market action, which is what you're trying to do with your honey. So once you gain a lot of honey and sometimes pollen, you then sell it in this market board. As you sell it, the cost of it will lower. So for example, if I sell wildflower honey now, I could sell as many as I like for 6 coins a piece. However, this will then move down, and anyone who sells it in the future will sell it for 5 coins a piece. This is a good reason to hold on to your honey and try to sell it in as many as possible, but it's also a reason to sell your honey sooner so that yours is worth more than everybody else's. So those are the 6 special abilities that are available to you when you complete a circle. Now other than that, you will have these different people to also sell to. When you take a market action, you can sell to these funny little guys. We have a little skunk over here, and they like certain types of honey. So, for example, oh goodness, I don't have what they want. But if, for example, I had these 2 types of honey, I would be able to use the market card to take this guy, and he would be scoring points for me at the end of the game. Now these orders do vary in points, where you have small orders on top, and as you play further through the game, you will have large orders on the bottom, so you have a very hungry bear. We have 2 very hungry bears. So you'll see they'll be worth more and more as you progress. The other things that are worth points throughout the game, because money is worth points, which is what you are selling your honey for, and you also do get some points for leftover honey at the end of the game, but the final thing that you are working toward are these Queen's contests. Now there are some that are immediate fills, and there are some that are scoring at the end of the game. Our center one here is 3 nectar of any 1 type. That one is a race to whoever can do it first. So first place in a 3-player game would get 20 points, or 20 coins, and second place would get 10 coins. Now at the end of the game, this one would be for most nectar clusters, which would be in the most areas of nectars that you have, and this one would be for most orders, which means the most people that you chose to serve as opposed to selling your honey to the market. Overall, I thought that this game was very charming. It can be a bit thinky about what you need to do, and because the actions are so simple, it really comes down to the choices that you make and how you can optimize your board better than your opponents, because it really will come down to who is able to do the best job possible. Now, there are also a few different things to know about Honeybuzz. There is a solo mode. I have not yet been able to check it out, but I am definitely going to soon. And there's also a harder variant, which I also haven't checked out, but know that that's available. Now really quickly before we go, can I just show you this honey-hungry family of possums? And also our little skunk friend. Also, just to show you the large orders before we go, for the ones that are different from bears, here we have a warhog with a little group. And we also have some hungry foxes. A very sly fox with his honeys. This has been a preview of Honeybuzz. Thank you all for watching, and thank you to Goliath Games for sponsoring this video. Please keep in mind they are now distributing Honeybuzz and Fire Tower, and if you want to check out that gameplay, it will be linked down below. I'm Professor Meg. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.